It seems that with any work of fiction involving made-up words, there's always a bit of ire from hardcore fans when it comes to how those words are pronounced.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Pokemon is special though. Why? Because it has hundreds and hundreds of mythical creatures for the fanbase to pronounce. Or, according to many fans, mispronounce. So, out of pure curiosity, I've decided to dive deep into the Pokemon world and determine just how do you find official pronunciations for Pokemon. Right now, I'll just be looking at the English version of these creatures. I know that many Pokemon have the same names as their Japanese counterparts, and we'll get to that in a moment, but for the most part, the English Pokemon have their own original names that somebody came up with, along with some way to pronounce them all. It was my quest to find that way. Before we even begin with the creatures though, let's start with the title of the franchise. How do you pronounce this word? Almost everyone seems to be in agreement with the first and last syllables of this word. The first is Poke, and this is Mon. But what about this middle letter? The E with an accent. There are two very common mispronunciations of this middle syllable. The first is Poke-E-Mon. And guess what? If this is how you pronounce the word, you're not the only one who does it that way. The Simpsons made the same mistake.
What do you like to play?
Pokemon.
Pokemon?
The second is Poke-Uh-Mon. I'll admit it, I've pronounced this franchise name by this name several times, and you can probably find it throughout some of my past videos. It's just easy to throw out that middle letter as an unstressed syllable. There's also that classic joke, how do you get a Pikachu on a bus? You Pokemon! The easiest way to remember that this is also a wrong way to say it is that Weird Al has a parody song, Pokemon. And if you're doing the polka, the pronunciation is a Nopa. The right way to say this franchise, even if it doesn't roll that well off the tongue, is Poke-A-Mon. In English, you'll see the acute accented E used in borrowed words often, like resume, fiancé, and yes, Poke-A-Mon. My favorite way to remember this one? Just imagine Fonzie right in the middle of this word. Poke-A-Mon. But beyond that, and the heart of today's topic, how do we pronounce the hundreds of creatures that Pokemon has given us? Is there some kind of official dictionary? Some kind of secret archive with all the info? The main reason Pokemon pronunciation is such a controversial topic is because of the media that it is most consumed in. Pokemon began as a video game, and then was adapted to a TV show, trading card game, multiple manga, toys, etc. But the only main way you're going to hear these creatures spoken by name, at least for the most part, is this one right here, the TV show. Now, the Pokemon anime has run for 850 episodes now. If you want to watch all that just for pronunciations, assuming about 20 minutes per episode, that's going to take you 17,000 minutes, or 283 hours, or 12 days. While I do totally respect everyone who's been able to catch every single episode, it's pretty reasonable to assume that most Pokemon fans have not made the 2-week plunge. And while I hate to say this, there is a way that you can find a list of most Pokemon pronunciations, at least all from generations 1 through 5. Pokédex 3D Pro. I still believe this functionality should simply be in-game, and you shouldn't have to pay $15 for this app, but yes, I do trust this app beyond anything else in terms of Pokemon's intended English pronunciations. So let's say you didn't watch all the Pokemon anime, or you didn't drop $15 on a Pokédex. All you have is some text on the game screen, or text on a card, and all you can do is infer based on what you know of the English language with the text right in front of you. So here's an example. Okay, well, I've seen other words with UNN before, like runner and gunner, so I'm gonna guess Munna. Munna. Okay, evolves with the moonstone, makes enough sense. How about this one? Well, I've seen CRAN before, like cranberry, right? How about Cranidos?
Cranidos.
Okay, crane, like cranium. Because he's got that big head, and cranium means skull. Okay, got it. Ah, man. I've never seen a word like this before. I know QUA can often make the qua sound, like in quadratic and quash. Hey, that's actually a Pokemon attack. Let's go with Rayquaza.
Rayquaza.
Okay, so even though this goes against what I've called this green space snake for years, Rayquaza actually makes sense. Builds off of the word quasar, an extremely bright, dense location from outer space. Since Rayquaza, the sky-high Pokemon, is often regarded as from the heavens, and we've even seen him in space now, it checks out. Oh my god, I figured it out! When in doubt, pun it out! All of these Pokemon names are puns. No wonder I love this franchise so much. I think I'm ready to figure one out on my own. This Pokemon, the metallic legendary Pokemon. The root of the word is D-I-A. Well, the generation is Diamond and Pearl, right? And this is the legendary Pokemon in the Diamond game, so let's go with the die sound at the start. Oh man, and look at this, D-I-A-L. It's like the word dial. And since this is the legendary Pokemon of time, it's perfect, like a time dial. Diamond for the hard mineral from the game, dial for time, Dialga.
Dialga!
Dialga? Okay. Everything I've learned, wasted potential. Useless facts floating away in the wind. The puns have failed me for the first and last time. So I'm guessing this thing is Diancie, right? Not Diancie for diamond, because we've learned that rule already.
Mega Diancie!
I am now beginning to see that making this video was quite the mistake. But that's okay, because you know who else likes mistakes? Pokemon. Just listen to the 3rd generation Poke Rap butcher both main series legendaries.
Bedlam, Metang, and Gruda, Kyogre, and Wilrain, and we've only just begun! Gruda, Kyogre, Gruda, Kyogre.
Groudon! Kyogre!
When the official show messes up their own pronunciations, it makes me feel a little bit better about myself. It's almost like the official pronunciations just might not matter at all. Let's close out today with the holy beast itself. I'm actually not sure how to say this thing. I get angry comments no matter how I finish that word. There is literally no pleasing anybody with this Pokemon. And of course, it's the Pokemon god that created the universe. Of course, this huge, influential Pokemon would have the most controversy surrounding its name and its pronunciation. Now, TheJWittz has already made a great video where they also talk about how this thing is pronounced. Check for a link of their video in the description. We've had them on the show before, and they're good people. The first official pronunciation for this thing is Arceus, dropped in the game Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii.
Arceus!
Then comes the rumor that there are trailers where the Pokemon is pronounced Arceus at some point. Much like our friends at TheJWittz, I haven't ever found an English trailer with this pronunciation. I have, however, found a Jewel of Life English trailer where the Pokemon is pronounced Arceus.
Arceus awakens.
Here we've got Arceus. K like every kiss begins with K. But then the actual movie ends up pronouncing the thing Arceus, like key to the heart.
Arceus!
So wait, you're telling me that we've heard in official media 3 pronunciations for this one character? Even Pokemon doesn't know what they want to call this thing. There are rumors that the name was changed from Arceus because that first syllable sounds like arse. British English uses it as an alternative word for the buttocks. I guess they were afraid of the god Pokemon becoming the butt of too many jokes. But the fact stands, even Pokemon doesn't always have a clear-cut pronunciation for all of their creatures. And that's okay, because like most of us who only experience Pokemon in a text-based form, all we can do is really give it our best guess. If there's anything I've learned from this, it's that pronunciations, while interesting to research, aren't really all that important in the long run. We're all playing the same games and enjoying the same universe, so who cares if there's a couple different ways to say all 700 plus Pokemon right now? My personal rule of thumb? Before correcting someone on how they pronounce a Pokemon, did you know what character they were talking about? If yes, why not let it pass? Save your anger for the real things that matter, like Zubat caves, with no repel. Ugh. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. If you enjoy Pokemon content, you can see a few other Pokemon videos that I've done right up here at the top. And if you want to watch more content that I make in general in the future, click that subscribe button over at the bottom to get alerts when my new videos are coming out. I'll see you guys next time with more Nintendo content.